Hi everyone, my name is Mr. Sharkey and I am one of your students co-teachers for ICP, which stands for Integrated Chemistry and Physics for this year. This is a co-taught course, so I also have Mr. Stiller, he is another one of your students teachers for this year, but he could not be here to film this because we don't share a prep this year. So um, a little bit about me. This is my third year teaching at Carmel High School. I have co-taught ICP all 3 years. I also teach chemistry now. So I've kind of been around the building and taught a few different courses, but co-taught ICP, being the third year that Mr. Stiller and I will be teaching it together. I think we've kind of found a pretty good flow and know the course pretty well. And just some information about me. Some of my hobbies include reading, baking, and then Dungeons and Dragons and other board games. Some of my favorite books right now, I really like a series called The Rhaenyra Revelations. I like a series called The Stormlight Archive. Both of those are fantasy novels, so they're pretty fun. And then another book that I've read recently is called Born a Crime. It's a novel, autobiographical about a comedian named Trevor Noah, and it tells his life story, and it's a pretty good book. In terms of movies and TV, I really like The Lord of the Rings and then The Great British Baking Show, which is a competition show where everyone is really nice to each other, and I think that is a very relaxing experience, and it's a pretty good show. In terms of in terms of music, I really like a band called Bleachers, and then Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and then a band called Queen, and I'm sure you're familiar with. Some important information about the course. As it is a co-taught course, Mr. Stiller and I will be in the room working with your students. We also have an IA in there who's frequently with us named Mr. Folk. So hopefully the three of us will be able to provide your student all the support they need, and then also give them multiple opportunities to show their understanding on any given topic. Students will always have the ability to reassess. So anytime they take a quiz or a test, if things don't go well, they'll have the opportunity to reassess. They'll probably have to do a little bit of extra practice before they earn that opportunity. But even if things don't go great the first time, they'll always have another chance to show us what they know and what they understand about a topic. Those tests and quizzes will make up about 70% of their final grade, and then formative assessments, so anything we're doing along the way, as of now, we're thinking will make up about 30% of the grade. So tests and quizzes about 70, and then worksheets and labs and things like that will make up that 30%. We're still kind of discussing and trying to finalize exactly what we're going to do and how we're going to make it fair for all students. So this is the only part of the presentation that is subject to change. In terms of classroom safety with COVID, students are always going to be seated at least 6 feet away from each other. In co-taught, we have such small class sizes that even when we're doing group work, we're able to spread out around the room and make sure students are 6 feet apart. While we are working in groups, that is still an expectation that I have for students. That's where I think some of the best learning happens, and also trying to do labs and things. They often need to be in groups. While students are in groups, they'll be reminded to stay 6 feet apart when they're at lab tables. We measure them out and ensure them that they're staying far enough away. Students will also be encouraged to wash their hands before and after group work, or to use hand sanitizer. Students will clean lab surfaces and any shared materials after lab completion. And then students will also work with the same group over time to try to limit their level of exposure. While students are in the class, I'm going to require that they wear masks at all times, just again to help prevent the spread. In terms of in-person versus virtual days, in-person students will be expected to participate in class discussions. We're going to observe phenomena and demonstrations. We'll brainstorm and problem solve in groups, as well as work in groups for labs. Students might begin assignments, and then they might also take short assessments while they are with us in person. One of the most important things for your student to find success, they need to ask questions while they're in class. That's when Mr. Stiller and I can help them the best, when we are face-to-face. Sending emails back and forth isn't always the best way to solve a problem. So if your student has questions, encourage them to ask them during class. On virtual days, students will need to follow the virtual agenda, which is found under the learning modules. I'll show you how to get there in just a second. And then they'll also be asked to participate in discussion posts, to finish assignments, upload pictures or scans of those assignments so they can check keys, And then again, they can ask questions. However, on virtual days, I still have other students in the building, so I might not be as quick to respond to emails as I have been in the past. So please send me emails even on virtual days, and I'll do everything I can to help your student while they're at home. The last thing I wanted to walk through today was the Canvas setup. So there's going to be 3 main buttons when they get to the home page. This is my chemistry one is shown on the screen, but I'm going to show you guys ours here in a second. So the learning modules button will bring them, that's pretty much the button they're going to use the most often. That's going to bring them to what they need to work through for any particular day. Class resources will bring them to just a bunch of PDFs of anything that I pass out in class. So if they don't have something, they can probably find it under class resources. And then the contact me button will just show them Mr. Stiller and I's emails, because that's the best way to get in contact with us. So let me show you the Canvas page real quick, and then hopefully that will answer any questions you have. So when a student logs in for a virtual day, they'll come to our page. The first thing that they need to do is click on Learning Modules. And then the most recent agenda, I'll always try to keep these up to date. So the one that's down at the bottom of this Unit 1 agendas, they should just be able to click on that. And then they'll see everything that we're doing in the in-person day, and then what they need to do on the virtual day. Whenever they have an assignment, I will link it. So for instance, with worksheet 1, your student could click on this, and then it'll give them a brief overview of what they need to do, and then a link to a digital copy in case they don't have the physical. And then when they submit that, they should be able to press this next button down here. And then after they've submitted, they'll unlock the key so they can go through and check their work and see if they have any errors or any mistakes. And then the next thing that was on the agenda should be the next thing that is linked. So then they're going to take this practice assessment over matter. This is the teacher view, so this isn't exactly what they'll see, but that is just a brief walkthrough of what things will look like. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me via email, and I'll do my best to respond. But in the meantime, I look forward to working with your kids and having a good year. Thank you. Have a good one.